All right. We are live again with episode 4 of Friday Night Lines. We've got new production, still stuff in the works. Should be live on YouTube next week. Tonight we're live on on Twitch, sorry. Live on Twitch. We will be posting it on YouTube afterwards. Hopefully live on YouTube, get some interaction going next week. But I've got some winners. I did some studying today. I got off work, played hooky. It was great. So I'm ready. I'm ready to get after it. I'm excited about this week. I know a little bit more about college football, or a little bit. We have some more answers in college football after getting through these first few weeks of this COVID crap, not knowing what we're going to see from all these teams, and we can do a little less live betting. We can bet ahead of the games. We can still live bet. It's still early, but it's time to bet ahead of time and just sit and watch your games win. I'm guaranteed if you put these bets in, stay disciplined, that you will win money on college football and NFL this week. This is my game day guarantee to you guys. We're gonna win money. Last week we went 1-2-1 in college football. Not great. Like I said, live betting was the way to go. 2-3 in NFL, 3-5-1 overall. We got new production. I've got shit everywhere. I'm so excited. I've got words below me that are strolling. I've got the lines on either side of me. I've got loaded box. Thanks to my producer, Pat Doyle, who's coming in and fucking hooking us up. Pat, why don't you just tell the people where they can find you at, just so we can get you a few more followers?
Hey, thanks for that beautiful introduction. I love everything I do here for you guys at Loaded Box. Articles up once a week, just like all the other guys, Ryan and Mikey. And you can find me at Twitter. I am at MoFFDoyle.
You can find Pat there. He writes a DFS article every week. He's trying to win you millions of dollars. He's going to win you millions of dollars. So I suggest you check that out. You should just check it out if you want to win money, whether it's via me giving you all the answers to fucking gambling, or him giving you what lineups you need to enter on DraftKings or on FanDuel or whatever you use for your daily fantasy. Just take our advice and fucking cash it in and give us a cut. Give us a percent or 10 or something like that. Not that we need it, because we'll be using it as well and winning. But let's just dive right in and let's do some winning. We're going to start with college football as always. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 picks for college football. We're starting off with maybe the highest scoring game of the entire weekend, a game that was high scoring last week. We're going to go SMU versus Memphis. It did open up as SMU were 2.5-point dogs. Now, on my book anyways, it is a pickup. I like SMU in this game. I think they're going to win. Last year, they're circling this game on their schedule, right? They come into this game. They're angry they lost last year. Memphis has not played for 3 weeks, I believe, due to the COVID concerns. So I would expect it's almost like a brand new start for them. They almost had to go through their practices and training camp and all that crap. And now they have to re-rev the engines back up after being gone for almost a month. SMU quarterback, Shane Bichelle, incredible. Great quarterback. He's a monster. He just puts up 400 yards through the air and throws a bunch of touchdowns. Had a monster game last week. And Memphis, they use this combination of running backs. They don't have Kenneth Gainwell. He opted out for this entire season. And they're rusty. The rustiness makes me worried. SMU, Shane Bichelle, all that. I like SMU straight up in this pick 'em. Smash that. Start with a win there. Next, we're going to jump over to Kentucky. Now, Kentucky's strategy is to kind of dominate time of possession. Kentucky's playing Ole Miss. They're 6-point favorites. I should start that out. Kentucky is 6-point favorites versus Ole Miss. Ole Miss put up a bunch of points this last week. Didn't get stopped that much, but they still got smashed. I love Kentucky -6. I think they're going to dominate time of possession, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on Ole Miss to score whenever they have the ball. I honestly think. I mean, there's 60 minutes. I think Kentucky may have the ball for 35. They may have the ball. So that just puts the pressure on Ole Miss with their new coach, Lane Kiffin, trying to figure out, he doesn't have his guys yet. He's just getting there brand new. It's a little bit messy. I'm just not confident in Ole Miss. I didn't see a lot of John Rhys Plumlee. They had this other quarterback in. Not confident. I think that time of possession domination with Kentucky is going to put too much pressure on Ole Miss to score every time they have it. I like them to cover that 6 points. I've seen it go up to 6.5 or 7 now. So other people seem to like Kentucky. If you can get at 6, I slam it at 6. I get worried with that even 7, that touchdown, that football number, that 7 points. Gonna take a big favorite here. I got Clemson minus 28.5 versus Virginia. I love Clemson. They're just too good. They're too talented. There's not much analysis that I need to put behind this, really. I don't think there's much explaining. They have ETN. They have Trevor Lawrence, going to be the number 1 pick in the draft next year. And and their defense is ridiculous too. They're limiting opponents right now, although they haven't been great, to 3.8 yards per play. So you're just not moving the ball on this team. So they're going to stop you on defense, and then ETN and Trevor Lawrence are just going to murder you offensively. You can just almost ride. I'm not going to be the fucking guy that's dumb enough to ever wake up and be like, yeah, let's bet Clemson today, because that just seems like a stupid idea. You're going to bet Clemson every week, and you're most likely going to win those games. So it's smart to just keep riding that train every week. They dominate the ACC. They'll continue to dominate the ACC. That's what they do. I'm going to save the best for last, skip over this one right now, come back to it. Next game I like, West Virginia plus 2.5 versus Baylor. This line seems a little, this is my rat line of the week, okay? It seems a little ratty to me. Seems like Baylor should be favored in this game, if not closer to even. Favored by more points. I feel like it should be like a 6-7 point spread, not 2.5. Charlie Brewer may be one of the best quarterbacks in all of the Big 12. They dominated Kansas last week. I know Kansas isn't a good team, but they crushed them. West Virginia lost to Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State didn't look great at all in their first game. They played like poop. They were stinky. And West Virginia lost by, I think, a couple of scores to them. But West Virginia is 4-0 all time versus Baylor and Morgantown. And that's why I think you're getting this 2.5 point spread. That's why I think it's only 2.5 points. It's tough to go into Morgantown, West Virginia for Baylor. Apparently, every time they play them and win, they just don't win those games. So I'm going to take those 2.5 points that West Virginia's getting. I might even sprinkle that money line a little bit, bet on West Virginia to win that game. They haven't lost. I just told you they're fucking 4-0 against Baylor. So why not sprinkle the money line? You got to ride the team that's undefeated against the team. You kind of just own real estate in a team's head when you don't lose to them. It's like, I don't know, the NFL comparison would be just the Packers constantly beating the Bears. Obviously, that pops in my head because I'm a Packers fan, but the Bears just have a hard time beating the Packers because players just, on the Bears, it's just in their head. It's the same thing here. Baylor goes to West Virginia, can't win there. They know it. They're going to hear it, and then they're going to play tight. West Virginia's going to win that game. Cash that fucker. Lastly, in college football, I've got Georgia. We're going to give you the big one. I've got Georgia versus Auburn. I don't have a side in here, but I do love the total. The total is 44.5. Smash the under right there. Georgia probably has the best defense in all of the nation, and Auburn isn't too far behind. You've got Bo Nix, quarterback for Auburn. Personally, I think he stinks. I think he sucks. I don't think he's a good quarterback. He reminds me of the quarterback for Georgia that just got drafted last year, and I'm blanking on his name. I'm getting angry. Fuck it, whatever. You guys don't know who I'm talking about. The quarterback from Georgia last year that got drafted this year. JT Daniels is now finally eligible to play quarterback for Georgia now. He's going to come out in his first game. It's going to be sloppy. They're not going to be on the same page. So I think this is going to be a sloppy game, like 10-13, 13-17, something like that. Low scoring. Both defenses are great. Bo Nix not good. JT Daniels' first game with his team. I think JT Daniels will end up being really good, and Georgia's just going to be like a sneaky national championship. Might beat Alabama this year, but his first game, they'll struggle to move the ball up and down the field. That's what I like for college football. Lock those in. I got SMU, Memphis pick. I've got SMU taking down Memphis in a pick 'em. I like Kentucky -6 versus Ole Miss. I like Clemson -28.5. Swallow every single one of those points versus Virginia. I like the Georgia versus Auburn under 44.5. And I like West Virginia +2.5 versus Baylor. Now, let's jump to probably most of your favorites, the NFL. We're going to jump to the NFL line. Again, I went 2-3 last week. I was 4-0 the week before. I still feel really good about the board. I lost the Rams game when they came back and last week, and they took the lead, and it felt like we were going to cover. And then Josh Allen got bailed out with a pass interference call on 4th down, which ultimately led to them winning the game. I ended up losing that Titans game, which they were favored by 2.5 against the Vikings, and now they might not even play. I'm assuming they're playing sluggish because they had COVID, and it took them a while to get going at the end of that game, since that game is being canceled this week. So that one was a frustrating one as well. But it was also fun to watch the Vikings blow a game and Kirk Cousins to go Matt Ryan at the end of that game. So that was great. NFL football games. Let's start out with the Jags versus the Bengals. This was a game you probably are like, what? Why? Like, why are you even talking about this game? It just sounds like a Thursday night football game, even though we had the ultimate Thursday night football game last night. That was the Broncos and the fucking, no, I'm blanking. Who did they play last night? It was so bad that I can't remember. Whatever the game was last night was the worst game of all. The Broncos and the Jets, thank you. Adam Gase should be fired. Broncos, I just had a feeling they were going to win. I don't know why he didn't get fired at halftime. That's what I expected. He should be gone. But anyways, this Jags-Bengals game seems like it should be something I don't talk about, but both these guys can score. Jags and Gardner Minshew are moving the ball up and down the field. Their defense is struggling. The Bengals with my boy Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd. I know he's getting hit every 5 seconds, but they're scoring the ball. I mean, he's top 10 fantasy quarterback right now in the league. 49.5 points. Smash that over. Neither one of these teams are going to stop each other defensively. They're incompetent. The Bengals don't even have a defense. They also don't have an offensive line. But Joe Burrow's been playing so well that it hasn't really mattered. He's just putting up points. Had a tie last week. They've been within a chance to win every game. So I just think they're going to score constantly. This is going to be a 35-42 game. There's going to be no field goals, just all touchdowns. So smash that over that 49.5. Next, now I know my podcast, like what I had to say on the podcast the other night, or what I have to say right now. But I love the Chargers. Love the Chargers +7. This is a case where I feel as if everybody's going to be betting on the Bucs. Chargers haven't looked great, and they believe that Tom Brady's finally start finding a groove. But I looked up some Tom Brady's number. So the Chargers are +7 versus the Bucs. I looked up some Tom Brady numbers recently, and I don't know. I just haven't seen it. He's 26th in QBR right now, 19th in yards, and 22nd in completion percentage. I don't think he's playing that great. Now, I'll give this to the Bucs. They have probably the best front seven in the league. Their linebackers are second to nobody. Devin White, they're top 11 in both passing yards and rushing yards given up. They don't give up a lot in the air or on the ground. And don't forget, just a couple weeks ago, I know they lost to Carolina last week, but just a couple weeks ago, they shut down Patrick Mahomes. Like, nobody shuts down Patrick Mahomes. He was struggling. You just kept thinking he was going to hit that on switch, and it never came. The Chargers defense played excellent in that game. I love the Chargers. I like them +7. And, guys, I'm going to say this. I'm going to say it again. Consider sprinkling that money line. I'm going to pull it up to see what that money line is real quick and kind of filibuster here. But I would honestly consider betting the Chargers to win. They probably won't, but they're going to make this game close. So the money line, if you bet the Chargers to win this game, you are getting, let me find it. All right, you're getting +230. So if you bet $100, you can win $230. I love the odds right there. I think it's going to be close. I think it's going to come down to the end. Herbert could struggle a little bit, but both defenses are going to keep this low scoring, and they're going to be in it at the end of the game and have a chance. I'm telling you that right now. Let's go to the next game. I've got the Ravens versus the Washington Washington Football Club, -13. This is your ultimate get right game. They play the Chiefs Monday Night Football in front of everybody. And Lamar Jackson looks incompetent. He throws for 95 or 97 or whatever He looked like a running back that they tried to play quarterback but couldn't throw. He was missing guys wide open. Even at the end of the half, Chiefs were playing off, and I think it was Hollywood Brown ran a slant, and Lamar Jackson threw it to the ground. There was nobody there. He threw it to a wide open guy, and it went to the ground. This is your get right game. They come in, they're pissed against the Washington football team. I know they have a solid defense, but lots of times you see, like Kyler Murray does to San Francisco, these mobile quarterbacks give really good defenses fits. And I think Lamar Jackson and the Ravens are going to come out pissed. The defense is just going to get after terrible Dwayne Haskins, incompetent offense. We could see like 3 defensive touchdowns from the Ravens in this game. They win by 40. You don't even have to worry about a backdoor cover from the football team. Ravens minus 13. Lock it in. I just made fun of Tom Brady a little bit, Pat, but revenge here. I've got the Patriots plus 6.5 versus the Chiefs. I just don't think we'll see a game this year where the Patriots aren't in it. With Cam Newton, with what Belichick has the ability to do, with what Josh McDaniels has the ability to do with him, they can throw the ball like they did against the Seahawks, or just straight up run the ball like they did this last week and just right on the Raiders' throat. They have 2 options. Newton can run, and it looks like his shoulder is completely healthy. And against the Seahawks, it was back and forth. They had a chance to win it at the end of that game. You can do almost anything you want with Cam Newton right now. And there's no way after that big Monday night game, the Chiefs are going to come in here and beat them by 7 points. I think the Patriots will win this game because they lost that big game to the Seahawks, and they won't lose 2 big games like that. Belichick will not lose 2 games. Not this big, not with this many eyes on it. I think they win this game, but if you're giving me 6.5 points, I'm betting $1,000 on this. This is too big of a spread. What do you think? Do you feel better, Pat, now that I at least gave the Patriots after dissing Tom Brady?
Hey, man, everyone's starting to see that it's more about Bill Belichick than it is Tom Brady, honestly.
Agreed. It is 100%. I mean, he's one of the best. I hate the Patriots, but I love Cam Newton. But he's one of the best coaches of all time. He's not going to come in. I know Andy Reid's good, but he's not going to come in and lose by 7 points. They may lose, but they're not going to come in and not make this competitive game. I think they're going to win. I'm confident that they will. But 6.5 points is just way too many. Everybody's going to be up in Chiefs just because Patrick Mahomes, but I will. And then the last pick, my weekly pick, I'm 5-0. Do the math. It's only been 3 weeks. I'm 5-0 betting on the Green Bay Packers. 7-point favorites against the Falcons. Now, the reason I'm 5-0 is because I bet money line and against the spread 2 of the weeks because in week 1, they were the dogs against the Vikings. So, of course, I was like, oh, well, they're going to win that game, and I'm going to bet the 3. And then they were dogs against the Saints on Sunday night. I'm like, well, they're going to win this game too. So just keep giving me free money, Vegas, and setting those lines. 7 points. I think people think the Falcons are like, oh, the Falcons are going to be angry and come in and make this a close game. But you said that last week. You said that the week before. And they lose to the Cowboys when they're up 1,000,000 points. They lost this last week to the Bears against Trubisky and just decided to stop scoring in that second half. And that's a bad football team. The Bears are not a good football team. It's a fluky 3-0. The Falcons aren't good. They have the worst defense in football. Devontae Adams is going to play. I know Lazard's going to be out for like a month. But MVS, Aaron Rodgers is going to have all day in Lambeau. He's going to be sitting back there just picking them apart. They're not going to get any pressure on him. Aaron Jones is going to run all over them. Matt Ryan just can't keep up. He won't be able to keep up. Julio and Calvin Ridley are both hobbled as well. So I'm not confident in Matt Ryan and that Falcons team at all. I think they're going to struggle to score with those guys struggling to even be on the field. 7 points is enough. I think I've seen this line move up to 7.5, 8 points. I don't care. They win by 15, 20. They blow them out. That game's over. I wish I had interaction right now. I would love to talk to people. What do you think, Pat? You got any questions as far as – so Pat's new to gambling a little bit as a production, so I'm going to use this as some education. So I'm curious if Pat wants any clarifications on anything that I said as far as gambling goes.
What typically affects the, I guess, you wanting to bet an over or under? relate to pace of play? Like, could you look at an under and be like, these teams typically play slow, you want to smash the under, things like that? Are there any specific stats that teams have throughout the year that typically affect how you look at over or under?
Yeah, well, and that's a good question because I'm not. I know you're more of a numbers guy. You look at it analytically. I look at kind of what I do look at a little bit of numbers, but I also look at what I see on the field. And just like I said with the Bengals and the Jags, it just these defenses. I see Joe Burrow putting up great numbers every week right now. The Jags defense isn't stopping anybody, and as they look like two crappy teams, they've been able to score a lot of points this year. And just in general, the NFL is more points than it ever has. And I think it just has a little bit to do with the fact that there's no fans. So it's a weird year to give an answer for that. But I don't know. It's just you look at the incompetent defensive team that can score, you kind of just ride with that. It's really hard. It's gambling. I wish I could give a good answer on that. I know you were talking about an under that you like. What was that?
Yeah, looking at the lines, I really think that people are, I guess, overrating the Cowboys. Whenever I watch the Cowboys, it seems like they always play to their opposition, where
Yep.
I don't see them blowing anyone out really. Where if
Yep.
they play a crappy team, they always play to their level. Like they played the Seahawks, they battled them. They play other teams, they tend to go with their pace, and I really think that with Stefanski being Cleveland's new head coach, he wouldn't mind running the ball 50 times a game. I know Hunt is a little injured, so they might leave a lot more carries for Chubb, which would technically slow down the game. And I
Yep.
really think that will affect the Cowboys' ability to put points on the board. And with their secondary, I think it'll hurt a lot of their splash play ability, and they'll have to run it through Zeke, just like how Cleveland will have to run it through Chubb. So I just think that it'll end up being a lot lower scoring.
Yeah, that's funny because I actually talked about the Cowboys and the Browns on the podcast on Wednesday. Well, it dropped on Thursday, and I pretty much said exactly what you said. The Browns know what they need to do. They have a competent coach in Stefanski now, and it's run that ball. It's run the damn ball. You have Kareem Hunt. You have the Nick Chubb. You have the best backfield in the league, and it's working. So they just need to run the ball, set up Baker for some play action. But like Odell said, they're not going to put up huge numbers in the passing game because their identity is run the ball. And this is a team that actually plays pretty solid defense. They have Myles Garrett. They get to the pass rusher. They're really good against the run. They've struggled against the pass, but they have dudes in the secondary that can play. And really, right now, the Cowboys are just so obvious in their strategy. And this is the problem with Mike McCarthy. I talked about this, and I actually heard this number today. He just falls in love with something, and he just won't get off of it. They've thrown the ball, the Cowboys, 66% of their plays. This is a fact. 66% of their plays. Nobody in the NFL right now is even close. We have Russell Wilson in the NFL. We have Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. We have Aaron Rodgers in the NFL. And the Cowboys have Ezekiel Elliott, and they throw the ball 66% of the time because Mike McCarthy has all three of these wide receivers, like I said earlier this year, and he's like, oh, let's just throw it every fucking time. And you almost don't even have to defend the run. And he does have to change that, but I think it's good. I mean, you saw it in the Falcons game. They struggled to score right away. They just couldn't score because everybody just knows they're going to pass. So I really do agree with that under. I wouldn't tell you that I agree with it if I didn't because I'm not going to just agree with anybody on purpose, but I love it. So if you guys are looking for an under, let's see what the over under in that game is. Do you have that number by chance, Pat? I have it right here. Otherwise, let's see here. We got Cowboys.
Yes, it has gone up to 56 and a half.
56 and a half. I have it at 55 and a half. That's a ton of fucking points. It's a ton of points. Yeah, I can see it in the 40s for sure. It's going to be a lot lower scoring than what people think. I also like Cleveland in that game. So if you could look at, he's already catching on. One weekend, he's already given some betting picks. So if you want to jump on the Pat bandwagon, get on that beginner's luck right away. Those beginners luck is a real thing in gambling. The Pat starts gambling right now. We all know that he's going to win a shit ton of money in like the first week and then just call it quits after that. So I would highly advise you to just start gambling for a week and then call it after that, because beginner's luck is a real thing and you'll win. But that's all I got for week 4 of the NFL Friday Night Lines. I'm happy to win you guys money. I can't wait to see you guys live on YouTube. I can't wait to see the chats come in. We'll post this on YouTube and post it on Twitter for everybody to watch. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for Pat. You can find me at Loadedbox DJ. I'll put a blog up with these picks as well and the video. So it'll be everywhere. It's going to be in your face. Thanks for coming in. Cheers. And we out.